All right, so this is like I said on my previous video right before this one, detailing in capitalism. Um, this is one of the vehicles I just recently detailed. It's an '07 Mitsubishi Lancer, and it came out really, really nice. I love this car. What a gorgeous car! What a nice car. Poor thing has been neglected, however, but I TLC'd it. Excuse me, TLC. I can't talk. Sorry, guys. I TLC'd it. It still doesn't coming out right. All right, you know what I mean though. I put a lot of TLC into it. A lot of tender, loving care. I TLC'd it a great deal. Um, it was a lot of work. I mean, a lot of work. It was. I kept saying it was a job and a half, two jobs in one. It was actually three jobs in one because the engine itself was a challenge because of all the mice droppings everywhere, especially on the strut towers, especially on the passenger side strut towers. The interior was another enormous challenge. The exterior was another enormous challenge. Like all three were enormous challenges: the engine, the exterior, and the interior, of course. So, yeah, it was a big job, but I got paid very well, and it took time. Um, it's this job right here is a perfect example of how you cannot detail cars in a couple of hours. It takes a few hours, several hours, all day, or even a couple of days. It's just the way it is. That's the business. If you can't understand that, then I don't know what to tell you. You need help because uh, 9 out of 10 times you cannot detail a car in a couple of hours. It takes time. 90% out of 100% of the times you cannot detail a car in a couple of hours. It takes a few hours, several hours, half a day, all day, a couple of days. That's just the way it is. The more work, the more time, the more money, because it's more time consuming. You have to put more effort into it. So that's basically it. Um, and I also wanted to mention quickly how there's a lot of people say, oh, well, it's not, how well you get it done. It's how fast and how well you get it done. No, it's not. That's erroneous. It's not about how fast you get it done. It's about how well you get it done. I'm not impressed about how fast you get the car done because that means that you're not doing a good job. Detailing is just that, paying attention to detail. That's why it's called detailing. That means you have to be very meticulous. You have to almost be OCD. You have to be almost be a perfectionist. You have to pay attention to everything. And that takes time. It's not a car wash, it's a detail. That means it takes time. It doesn't get done in a couple of hours. It takes time. It takes a few hours, several hours, half a day, all day, a couple of days, even a few days, like Larry Casilla, that charges anywhere between $1,000 and $3,000 to detail $1 million Ferraris, $1.5 million Ferraris, and $2 million Ferraris. But guess what? He takes all day, a couple of days, even a few days to get these cars done. And I know from personal experience of other detailers that get cars ready for car shows, show cars that are for competition that have trophies, awards. They place trophies and awards. They win in car shows. Those cars can take anywhere, according to my old school um, auto tech teacher. He says they can take anywhere from 1 week to a couple of weeks to even a couple of months getting a car ready for show, detailing it a little bit at a time every day, doing a little bit here and there because you have very strict judges that judge the car. Everything has to be clean. There cannot be any dirt or dust, nothing. It all has to be basically immaculate. That's a big detailed job. That takes time. That's not a couple of hours. So, I don't want to hear this nonsense of that you can get cars done in a couple of hours in a detail world. Not necessarily so. That's only best case scenario, and if the car is very clean and there's not too much due to it within reason. The more work you have to put into the car, the more time it's going to take, the more money you have to charge. That means it's a few hours, several hours, half a day, all day, even a couple of days. Easy. Okay, not a couple of hours. It takes time to detail cars. It just depends on the job, on the size of the vehicle, and especially how much work you have to do to the vehicle. You can have a small car, but it's horrendous. That's going to take more time and it's going to be more expensive to detail that car than a bigger car that is clean. You understand? So it's not the size either. A lot of people think because it's a smaller car, it's more affordable, and a bigger car is more expensive. Well, yeah, a bigger car would be more expensive, but just because a car is smaller doesn't necessarily mean it's less expensive. The price is somewhat determined by the size of the vehicle, but more importantly, the size is not what really matters. What really counts to determine the price of or a proper uh, price quote or estimate to detail a car is how much work is there to be done on this vehicle. It's not so much the size of the vehicle, it's how much work you have to put in to get this car, back to how it needs to be, to have it fully detailed, to have it properly done. So the size is actually a small part of the price. The big part of the price is the work. How much time is it going to take me to get this vehicle done? How much work do I have to do? That is what really determines the price. That's like 60 to 90% of the price is the work, not the size of the vehicle, within reason. The size of the vehicle does play a big role, don't get me wrong. But what plays even a much bigger role is the work. How much does a detailer have to put in to get that car or that vehicle detailed? So I'm not impressed. We are not impressed. There's thousands, millions, and even billions of us. We are not impressed by how fast you get the vehicle detailed. We are very impressed is by how well you get the vehicle detailed. That's what matters. That's what counts. How well of a detailed job did you do on that specific vehicle that you detailed? Not how fast you did it, because the faster you do it, that means you're doing mediocre work, you're doing sloppy work, you're missing a lot of things, you're not doing things right. It's not about the speed. Some people say, oh, well, it's about both the speed and how well. Not necessarily the case. That's sometimes the case, but not always. Usually, that's not even a case. Usually, it's just about how well you detail cars in the detailing business, in the detailing world. It's not about how fast, within reason. It's about how well you detail cars. I'd rather spend, a day detailing 2 cars than trying to get 10 cars done, because those 10 cars are not going to get done right. It's just the way it is. So I'd rather just do 2 cars, detail 2 cars a day, do them right, and make all the money. And your business flourishes. And then you're able to acquire lucrative assets. So that's what I wanted to mention. You have a lot of knuckleheads that think that, oh, it's about how fast you get it done and or how fast you get it done and how well you get it done. Well, on it's about how fast you get it done and how well you get it done. That's only within reason. It depends on the circumstance, on the case, on the situation. Sometimes you can do that, sometimes you can't. But it's certainly not about how fast you get it done. It's about how well you get it done, at least within reason. It always has been, it always will be. It's about how well you get it done, not how fast you get it done. That doesn't impress anyone that you get it done that fast. What impresses people is the quality of the work. That's what impresses people. The quality job, a detailed job done right. That's what impresses people, not that you can get it done very fast, because that means that you're not doing a good work. You're not doing a good job if you're getting it done that fast, especially if the car requires a lot of TLC and it requires a lot of work like this one. It's a perfect example of that. So this one got fully detailed, engine bay, engine, headlights restored. It got thoroughly washed very well, sealed, got a nice good coat of sealant protectant on the paint. It got 3 coats of wax. The interior was done thoroughly. That was a The interior was probably the biggest part of the hardest job of this vehicle, to be honest. And then the trunk and trunk jam, door jams, jam, gas door jam, that is, fender wells and rims and tires, everything. Windows in and out, sunroof, everything. Now I could have done even a better job on this. I could have done even more, but there's only so much time you can spend on it. You know, it's very realistic to even spend a few days on a detail job. That's just the way it is. Like Larry Casilla, like I said, one of the top-notch detailers, master of master detailers in the nation or in the world, and he can take as much as a few days or more. That's just normal. That's just the way it is. But of course, usually the case is where you detail cars in a few hours or several hours. That's the norm, the average. Best case scenario is a couple hours or less, but that's very seldom. That's very rare. That's far in between. Usually, that's not the case. Usually, it's going to take a few hours or several hours to detail uh, a car like this '07 Mitsubishi Lancer, which I just did recently. This is one of my videos, and I'm making another video out of this. So this is, like I said, one of the vehicles I just recently detailed. And this one was a challenge, but I love it because you feel so good afterwards. The that, you know, personal satisfaction is just outstanding. So I'm very proud of this job. I could have done a lot better, a lot more, but like I said, there's only so much the customer can afford to pay, and there's only so much time you can spend on it. So I spent a weekend cleaning this up, and they didn't need it for the entire weekend. So that's why, I'm like, okay, I can take the time to get this done, and they're paying very well, so I'm gonna do it. But you know, there's only so much time you can spend on it, so much time you get, and there's sometimes so much work to do that you just can't get to it. The interior honestly took probably anywhere from half to most of the time, because it was that bad. But yeah, the important thing, it got done, and it got done right. So I'm very proud of this detail job, and the customer, more importantly, is extremely ecstatic. They're just so happy. They're very happy, very satisfied. And this detail job right here opened a door for many more detail jobs. And now I have a permanent, loyal, faithful customer to where I'm always going to get to do this car. All right, you guys, I guess that's a wrap for now, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Take care. See you soon.